fais des putains de craquettes. J'suis dans la job, rien que ça flex. J'mise à Wayne comme café. J'ai fait brrr.
Alright, yeah. So, my cousin, Will, is cool. Only thing is that, you know, he abuses alcohol. And then he's an emotional drinker on top of that. Anytime that he wants to talk, especially when he's drunk, he always want to bring up some old family drama or talk about some mess that's going on between his mama and mine. My cousin William has an older brother, grew up with both his parents, even partly had mine. When we get to talking about family, it goes from him doing that to him trying to compare trauma, you know, as if he has been through worse. Which not until after we had this the conversation, I thought just on how dumb that was. I'm gonna try to speed this up. So, okay, most of my life I basically stayed to myself. My reason for behind that and growing up is because it seemed like everything negative that happened to me happened when I was away from my mother. Molested, physically abused, yeah, like that. Or getting pumped for information. My cousin, two cousins, you know, all went in and out through my mother's house, spending the night, staying there, or whatever. Which kind of like make me frown when my cousin William gets to talking, because he feels that I've gotten the same treatment from his mother, which is crazy. As a little kid, when I went to spend the night up over there, his mom let me know from the gate, even if you want a glass of water, ask for it. You know what I'm saying? And when she wasn't laying down rules, I was fighting with his older brother that was technically a bully. Now, these is coming from the same three people, not counting the husband, them, but would come to my mother's house, steal some of my clothes, steal her alcohol, wine bottles, include taking plates of food home, not asking. All right, that's bringing it back forward. Now he's drinking, but he's already drunk, and he's speaking on his mom and my mom, saying that what they go through is it has nothing to do with us. Meanwhile, he's putting his opinion in on what they're arguing about, telling me what I should talk to my mother for, and that I can still speak to his mother. It was a specific time when she was in my grandmother's house that I walked past her. I didn't say anything, but it was because partly we had our own situation too. I'm not really for talking about it, so I figured that I just tell my audience. Why not? What I'm going to elaborate more so on is him trying to compare trauma, okay? Now, as I said, him, his brother, including a few other cousins of mine, would come in and out of my mother's house spending the night when they was running away from their parents' house for whatever reason. What they can say is that I have the same love, but what they can't do is prove it. He can say that, well, if I just opened my mouth, I could get the same treatment because his mother loves me the same, yet never has showed that at all. Never, not once. It was only until I was grown that they told me I wouldn't have to ask for a glass of water. They would run over to my mother's house and beg my mother not to tell her sister, their mom, where they was. And a lot of the times they would bring their friends up over there and even take my clothes when they was there. But yet they always had the green light to come back. I'm an only child. No father. Me growing up, I stayed with my mother much longer, probably than the average, maybe, I don't know. It came to a point where I had cut him off trying to compare trauma. Good, bad, or indifferent. You can call my mother whatever you feel you would like. Yet you came there. She never forced you to come there. Rather, if you didn't have nowhere else to go or whatever, you came there. So even to try to speak on her or her household, you think you know what was going on because you were there in her house, now trying to speak of what went down in her house when you was getting help staying there. But whatever. A day that I got into a fight with his older brother, and he made me take off his shirt. I left his mother's house walking. His mother didn't say anything. My cousin William's play brother, I believe, was staying there, and she told him from the day that he had walked in that from that day to the 30 days, he was going to have to pay rent, and that would be his day. I never remember my mother saying that to any of them, especially my cousin William and his older brother. Me growing up, and I can say this clear because it was no surprise. I mean, again, reason why I would rather have been with my mother than anybody else. I knew I didn't have nobody to go to. Or anyone to take me in with loving arms, but well, at least not like my mother did. They can say, but you can feel when you're unwanted, or when people don't want you around. Even though I'm a kid, I ain't did nothing wrong. I don't know what's the point, but you can feel it. But we're grown now, and he holds on to this. Not too long ago, my grandmother passed, and it's not too long after that where he's bringing up the same one too. I've been in the situation. They would run to my mother's house. I ran to my car. Again, I would see them when I walk up in the room or come home from school. They there, and they up in there talking to my moms about what's going on in their parents' household with them and why they ran away and don't want to go back and all that. I spoke to myself in the car, went from a car to a shelter. Yeah, I don't have not one uncle, and even more so, an auntie, please, that I could please. And I'm perfectly cool with that. Because one thing that this family does do a lot, and that's if they help you, they're going to broadcast it. You know what I'm saying? My cousin William would get mad at me when he would be telling me that he feels that his parents is against him, asking me for information, and I wouldn't have anything to say. You know. And partly because he don't know my stories, because I don't tell it or I don't broadcast it. I don't see the point. I really don't see the point. When I went to a shelter, I told him about it, this is much later, he gets teary-eyed saying that I didn't tell him. But, you know, and this is to anybody that doesn't broadcast their shortcomings. You know, if you tell somebody that you're not doing good, what they gonna do anyway? You know, and that's if they say, you know, I hope everything is well, which that's what you just told me a life story for. You know, you don't need nobody to feel sorry for you, or at least I don't. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the times, again, as I would tell him, I know what you mean. Like, I've been through the same thing. The only difference is when you leave, you'll go to a female's house to mooch off of, or one of your play aunties' house or whatever. I ain't got that. I don't have that. I never have had that, and I've never did that. I figured it out on my own. So, but I'm gonna go on a childish note, real petty, because he then told me that the family needed to come together, at least the youngins, and just talk on a bigger scale, and things could get handled. I told him that I don't see anything like that happening, one, and then I don't see nothing happening like that without maybe a fight or something breaking out too. Okay, perfect example. You call my phone. I was unable to answer it. I might have been using the bathroom, taking a shower, or whatever. I miss your phone by a second. I'll call you right back. You don't answer the phone. I call you back again. You don't answer the phone. But when you look at the call log, you missed their call less than 2 minutes. Less than 2 minutes. How far could they be from their phone in 2 minutes? And then when they finally do call you back, hours later or the next day, this is the excuse of why they didn't pick up. Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't even see you call. Or my bad, I ended up doing something. After the third, fourth, fifth time, it's like, for real? So anytime I don't answer your call on your first ring or the time you call, you're going to play a petty, childish game like that to where you don't answer my calls either, as if I didn't answer your call on purpose. And that's something light. That's something light. This is when When my cousin William was literally the first cousin, or first person that I guess did that to me. It was as kids, and I felt that was weird as mess. Weird. And what took me a while to notice it is because nobody else, or at least outside the family, nobody else does this. If you miss their call, you call it back. They hang up. I mean, they answer the phone. Y'all start your conversation. As we got older, not only does he do this, but other cousins of mine do it too. My mother do it too. I guess when they're feeling some type of way. And then what will make it even more toxic is after you basically called my phone, and then I try to call you back, and then you don't answer multiple times, and I call you on it. What was the point of you calling my phone just to not answer when I call you back? What you talking about? I called you, you didn't answer the phone. Well, actually, I did, and you hung up the phone. Well, I didn't know. What? Well, what was the point of calling? Obviously, it wasn't that important. Then the next question would be, what was the point of calling me in the first place? Before that, they would even think to, yeah, you right, that was unnecessary. Well, what, you don't want me to call you no more? Just kind of toxic bull is the... But that's something that I would kind of expect more so from, a woman. But for men to be doing that, like, you text me, but because I didn't text you right back, now you're not going to text me back until tomorrow. Because I missed your call. When I call you back, you're not going to answer it. You ain't going to call me until the next day or the next day or the next day after that. And again, that's something light. Just as simple as picking up the phone. That's something light. When I tell him this, he's acting like he don't know what I'm talking about. But he's did it so many times, you know the pattern though. They've did it so many times, you know the pattern though. You know that they feeling some type of way. I mean, this is your family. You've been around them for years. And I'll take it even a further step out. He'll get mad when you don't want to listen. Get mad when you don't want to listen. The definition of gossiping is talking about somebody and what they doing in their life when they're not nowhere around. They ain't talking to you. They're not thinking about you. But nowadays, with the people that they with, when they're pillow talking, laying in bed, talking about somebody else, that's gossiping. And then people that love to gossip love to say this. I say it to their face, but you're not though. This is the same person that'll tell somebody else to tell somebody else something for them. I say it to their face, but you're not though. Nine times out of 10, anybody that'll tell you to sit down so they can start talking to you or gossiping to you about somebody else, you're crazy if you don't think that they're doing the same thing to you. Oh, you don't feel that they're doing it? That's just because they're not feeling some type of way about you yet. My cousin called me 2 nights ago around midnight. So I know he's drunk. Before I caught this little code, what my mother was telling me about my cousin, nothing was positive. The few times I guess he went there, he was drunk. It's none of my business. It's not my house that he's coming to. He wouldn't even know where I stayed at. When I was younger, and I was taken from my mother and I had to go and live with my Auntie Jane for a minute, you know, things wasn't cool then. My mother sent me to be there so I wouldn't get put into the system, whatever. Low-key getting abused there. Not as bad, I guess, when I was with her through my supposedly sister. But I was. And my auntie was so cool with it, is that she was telling me that my mother wasn't paying her. My mother was paying her and giving me money. She would take the money from my mother and then take my money too. But forget all that. What makes it even funny, Mr., you know, the family needs to come together. He couldn't even explain the phone games that he played. When I called him out on that, on just why he even do that, he had nothing to say but to just stand there looking stupid. Because obviously he must have got that from his moms. I've noticed a few of my cousins do that. And then again, like I said earlier too, my mother does that too. So it's like, who started that fake mess? Like, even more so when you called them first. They didn't even call you. How you called them and ended up playing on the phone? Calling, hanging up. Call, they miss your call. Your hand is broke now. You can't answer the phone now. Not one person from the street or somebody outside of my family that I know does that. Not one. Not even females. Because that comes across to me like,
oh my God.
What I gotta do? What, kiss your butt? Because you're going to do this type of thing every time you're feeling some type of way and you got something tickling up your butt? You can't even explain why you do that on the phone. But you think the family will be able to come together and put aside differences, which I'm sure most of the differences is probably dumb. Are you stupid or dumb? And then even with that, I'm not half as angry about it as he is. Why he's emotional and screaming most of it because he's had one too many drinks. If anything with me, it just makes me want to just stay away. You don't really have to deal with it or even hear about it if you're not around them. Because how two-faced does that make you to be talking about these people, but then you're right up in their face the next day? Like you didn't say half of the mess you just said.